Hi, I'm back with some more recommendations for the adult crowd. When I looked back on some of the books that I have been recommending for my students, most of them have been adult books. Maybe that's because what I'm doing is going to my bookshelf and getting the books that I have here that we also have in the library. So a lot of those are probably going to lead more towards the adult books. But what I thought I would do is point out some of those genres. So this will probably be a little bit of a shorter video. I'm not going to book talk each book. I will leave the links to the videos that I've done book talking these books to my students in those YouTube videos. And that way you can go there if you want to know more about each book. But I thought just by genre, I would do a quick video of the ones that I've already book talked over there. And then later on today, I think I will do one book talking some of the cozy mystery series that I do. I have probably 4 or 5 series here that I saw on my bookshelf, and I'll bring those in and talk about those specifically, book talking those. So without further ado, some of the genres that I book talked already in those other 2 videos by genre. When you're looking at like The Historian or The Green Mile, Stephen King, I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends read all of Stephen King. I don't read all of Stephen King. I pick up some of his, but this is the first one that I read on a recommendation by a student back when I was teaching in like 98, 99, 97, 98, 99, somewhere around there. This is the first one that I read by him. It does scare the pants off of me, but it's absolutely fabulous writing. The latest Stephen King that I read is the one that is like, I can never remember the exact date, but it's 11-something-67, I think. It's the one that talks about time traveling back and stopping a presidential assassination. Again, super good. I listened to that one on audio. Another reminder to go to your public library's website, Blanchester Public Library if you need to, and there is a way that even if you do not have a public library card currently, you can click on that and get one, and then you can get the free ebooks and the free audiobooks. And that's how I listened to the 67, which was super good on audio. So the Green Mile, and then also The Historian. This is definitely a heftier book, but one of my favorite books. It is in that horror genre, I would say. Sometimes if you open up the flap, it'll give you the genre inside the flap. So I just thought that might be on this one, but it's not. Interesting. But I would call this more in that horror also. It is a more modern retelling of the Dracula saga, so super, super good. I love this book. If you like historical fiction, it really pulls in a lot of history. Love this one. The other big genre that it seems like I was talking about in the last couple of videos is that dystopian or apocalyptic one. So I did these 3. This is the Left Behind series, and then The Handmaid's Tale. A lot of you will know this because they just turned it into a movie. I think they're on their 2nd or 3rd series, not movie, but series on Hulu maybe. And then The Girl with All the Gifts, really highly recommend this one too. It is not that old. I feel like this has just been in the last couple of years. If you like The Walking Dead, this is more of that zombie fiction. They're not zombies, they're kids, but they definitely are different in their own way. But yeah, 2014, so another apocalyptic one. So if you're looking for that kind of reading right now, these are the 3 in that genre that I did. The Handmaid's Tale would be one that you may have been assigned to read when you were in college if you're an English major. I think that's whenever I read mine. You can see I've had it forever here and it's falling apart. But that apocalyptic genre, I have book talked all 3 of those in the other video. Even though these are not adult books, I did want to throw them in today because they are Newbery authors. A Wrinkle in Time won the Newbery, and then E.L. Konigsberg is a Newbery winner, a Newbery author, I should say. But if you have kids at home and you're looking for good ones to listen to together or to read together, these would be 2 good choices. So even though they're not adult ones, I did want to throw those 2 in there. Some more modern classics in that genre. We have Charlie. We have Barbara Kingsolver's The Bean Trees. This is one that is often assigned reading again in college. Good coming of age novel. I love Barbara Kingsolver. I read everything that she writes. And then Little Women. Again, a good resurgence in this since they put out a new movie around Christmas time with Emma Watson. So that's a great genre. Again, this is a YA novel. I know I said I was going to do adult novels. This is a YA novel, but it's so good that I really wanted to mention it because I know that I have a lot of former students that are watching right now, and you guys like those page turners, you like those mysteries. There is nothing science fiction-y in this at all, nothing fantasy, just a great page turning mystery. Suspense, more suspenseful too than mystery. The Female of the Species by Minnie McGinnis. She is an Ohio author, so I did want to point that out there. And then another couple of mysteries that I've been book talking. The classic Agatha Christie. I love her. The Mysterious Affair at Styles is one of my favorites, but anything by her. She is one of those authors that I didn't read until later in life, and then once I read the first one, I just continuously pick up her books and read them. They're super, super good. I just finished watching Broadchurch last night, just the first season. I had watched an episode or two early on and then just had put it aside, and then yesterday I ended up watching the rest of that first season, and that's kind of how I would describe some of those Agatha Christie novels, is that you don't figure them out. It's not like some of the more formulaic mysteries series that we see now, where you feel like you're halfway through or maybe almost 3/4 of the way through the book, and you already know. You know what's going to happen. You know where it's going. You're not quite sure how it's going to get there, but you know it's going to get there. And Agatha Christie, I feel like she always surprises me, and it's kind of like that Broadchurch, that very last episode of first season. I thought, you have got to be kidding me. I did not see this coming. This is not who I thought was going to be the culprit. And again, I would say that as much as I was really interested in Broadchurch yesterday, finishing that series, that's how this Female of the Species is. It is a page turner. You will want to make sure that character, you're worried about her. You should be worried about her. So that's a really good one. Two other mystery series that I book talked in the other video. This is A Grave Matter, which I believe is the second one in the this is number 3 in the Lady Darby series. The first one is called The Anatomist's Wife, and the second one is called Mortal Arts. Again, I got these locally at the Books by the Banks Festival. And this author is usually there every year, and she usually has a new installment in the Lady Darby series. It is set in Scotland in 1830, so you do get that the historical fiction in there also, but definitely more of a mystery more than the historical fiction. I love these. They're super good. Romantic factor in them for sure. And then the Sue Grafton series. This is her alphabet series, and I book talked Emma's for Malice. I think I read Ennis for Noose, Emma's for Malice, and maybe one more in her series. But again, they're good. They're gripping. They make you want to sit down and read. I know I told you that I was struggling to read during this time, which I think is super weird because I usually just am a ferocious reader. But these are definitely different times, I think, and the way that our mind is working, it's interesting. I'm interested in reading how this stay-at-home has affected people. But anywho, Emma's for Malice, it's a page-turner. You definitely want to be reading it. I have a whole stack of John Grisham's here, so I'll put a couple of these titles so you can see. Oh, there we go. The Rainmaker, The Summons, The Partner, The Painted House, The King of Torts, and The Innocent Man, The Client, and The Brethren. So again, book talked some of those on that other video, but I do want to pull out The Innocent Man for you true crime people. I put a link a couple of days ago on my personal one, and then I also linked it on the library's website yesterday about some good true crime if you are watching The Tiger King, or if you're a true crime junkie like I am. The Innocent Man by John Grisham is one of his nonfiction ones. He explores the story, and it's I wonder if it's going to 1971. The Major League Draft, the first player chosen from the state of Oklahoma was Ron Williamson. He signed, but 6 years later things don't go well, and he gets himself in some trouble. In 1982, a 21-year-old cocktail waitress in Ada named Deborah Sue Carter is murdered, and for 5 years they can't solve the crime, and then they peg it on him. So really good true crime. Going to throw that one out there. And then the other one that I would pull out, because most of these are formulaic lawyer courtroom dramas, which I love. I read anything John Grisham, and I love those courtroom dramas. But he has written a couple that do not follow that, and that Innocent Man is one, and then A Painted House is another one. This is more a slower, beautiful story, semi-autobiographical for him, and it takes place in 1952, and it's just it's interesting. It does follow a lot of how John Grisham writes his stories. There's always an event that you're trying to then solve what's going on or whatever. So it does follow that kind of thing, but a slower, more beautiful story. So do want to throw those out there. Again, I will read anything John Grisham writes, so I always have those here at hand. There's some literary novels that I did some book talking for. A Virtuous Woman by Kate Gibbons, and Ellen Foster by Kate Gibbons, and then John Irving, A Prayer for Owen Meany. I love this. This is definitely a beautiful book. And again, kind of hefty, but would be a really good one to read during this time when you have time to sit down and really get into a book. And this is just such a beautiful story. So these are 3 literary novels that I book talk over there on that other video. And that takes you through the ones that I already have book talked, adult books that I have book talked on the student book talk videos. So I know I took up 10 minutes telling you that I wasn't going to book talk all those books, but I did want to point those out because they are mostly adult books that I think that you would really enjoy. If you said, okay, you've done all those books, which ones would you just say you just have to read right now? I would say that The Girl with All the Gifts didn't get enough attention that I've seen. Great, apocalyptic. Again, if you like The Walking Dead, it's kind of like that. And it's one of those books that when I got very close to the end, I thought, I have no idea how you're going to do this. I don't know how are you going to end it. I don't know how you're going to end this. This doesn't make any sense. So really cool ending. So I would say I would highly recommend that one. I would highly recommend the Lady Darby series by Anna Huber. Highly recommend that. I think especially during this time, I think it would be really enjoyable. And then The Female of the Species, that page-turning, suspenseful mystery. Some language in there, some situations. I know it's still written for young adults, but definitely still has some of that very violent in there, but super, super good story and just will really make you want to read. So those are my top picks. And like I said, I'll come back with another video. I think I'll do some Cozy Mystery series today, and then I'm going to catch up my kids on a couple of book recommendations for them too. So thanks. Really enjoyed doing these. Let me know what you're reading. I always love to hear what you're reading. I know I got a lot of personal messages the last time. And then people saying, well, here's what I've read, but I haven't read anything for a little while, so what do you recommend? I love doing that. I have plenty of time to give you some recommendations during this. So let me know what you think, and enjoy.